Hi, Jonny from JonnyGoode.com here, and Happy New Year. Thank you for tuning in. What I'm talking about today are two mics which I found as really good alternatives to what is probably the most well-recognised iconic mic in the whole of the music business, the Shure SM58. You'll see this at pretty much every venue. You'll be singing through it probably at an open mic. You'll see it in most live sound engineers' gig bags, and indeed in most recording studios too. So I want to start by saying it's a great mic. It's really durable, super reliable, and run through in the hands of a good engineer with a good desk, doing a thorough sound check. You can get some absolutely fantastic live sounds with it, with excellent feedback rejection. So it's a great value mic. What I was finding and why I started looking for an alternative was a lot of the places that I was performing, particularly at that stage of my career, was a lot of open mics, and pretty much, as I'm sure you may well have experienced, the sound engineer might not be the most attentive, and you're probably only going to be singing for maybe 2 or 3 songs for about 10 minutes. So the chances of you working out having a good sound on your vocal are pretty slim. The sound engineer's probably going to be propping up a bar somewhere, if you're lucky. If not, you might just be plugging the mic in yourself. So for me and my voice, my singing voice, which is pretty muddy, there's quite a lot of low mid in my voice, and I was finding that the SM58 was also a kind of pretty muddy, low midi kind of mic. So those things together, I was just getting a really woody, woolly, muddy sound, which just wasn't benefiting my voice at all. So what I wanted to start looking for was a dynamic mic which just had a better frequency response to match to my vocal. So if you've got a similar vocal to me, if you're a girl, if you've got you're a guy, you've got a high voice, then it's probably not so applicable for you. You may well find that the 58 or indeed even the 57 might be great mics for you. But if you're a guy with a pretty standard range like me, then this may well be of interest. So what did I find? Anyway, let's cut the waffle. The first mic which I bought after lots and lots of research was from Audix, American company called Audix, part of their OM series, and their OM series I believe goes from 1 up to 7, I think, and they categorize them in appropriateness of size of venue. So it kind of starts off at small room, small venue, club, and goes all the way up to kind of stadium or something. And this is the, as I haven't got to the stadium part of my career yet, this is the Audix OM2, which is aimed at people that are singing in small clubs, for me singing at weddings and events, pubs and that kind of thing, or with small bands. It's a really nice looking mic. I think that's the first thing I kind of observed in it. It's nice and simple, it's not flashy, it's just a nice functional mic that you're going to look like a knob with this on stage. Another thing I noticed pretty quickly on was it has excellent feedback rejection. I think better than that of the SM58, and it has a really close field. So if you start coming away from this mic pretty quickly, you're almost getting nothing, which is really useful if you're singing in a band in a small pub or club that you've never sung in before and you're getting any sorts of feedback problems. This is a fantastic mic for that. Sound wise, what I found very pleasing. It has, to me, almost like a processed sound. Almost sounds like it's already gone through a bit of EQing and almost compression. Really pleasing for me. I found it particularly shone when I was in bands, if I was playing clubs alongside drummers, bass and a guitar or something. It really cut through. Again, that feedback rejection was really handy, and it was just 100% reliable. Really good mic, so that's why I've clung on to this one. So it's the Audix OM2. Strongly recommend that. And of course I found was the point of the research and actually getting it, that it really benefited my voice straight into the desk much better than the SM58. Okay, so that's the Audix OM2. Now the second one I got hold of when I was playing a lot more solo shows, and a lot more quieter stuff, acoustic and vocal, rather than with bands, and I wanted something which was going to be a bit more suitable for that. Well, of course the Audix would do their job absolutely fine. I wanted something, I started looking for something that had a little bit more clarity, perhaps, and almost a bit of a condenser sound about it without going down the road of having a handheld condenser. And what I came up with, I should show you this how it comes, is Blues Encore 200. Actually, I bought the 100 first and then ended up getting the 200, which comes in this sort of felt lined case, and has an appearance which will probably split the crowd. Some people maybe feel like they look like a bit of a knob singing into this, and some people probably kind of think it's quite cool. I kind of sit on the fence. I'm not that fussed either way. It's a heavier mic than the OM2, so it has this kind of shiny copper grill, which almost has, dare I say, a bit of a X Factor feel about it. But it's a nice solid looking mic, and you've got the blue logo there. It feels very well made. So the 100 in this series is pretty much a direct competitor of the 58. The 200, this one here, is what they call an active dynamic, which I'd never come across before. I think what it has inside it is some sort of small amp which boosts the signal coming from the mic, essentially like a preamp, I guess. So it is a hotter mic than the most dynamics, as you'd expect if it's got this amp in it, but that amp inside it does require 48 volt phantom power, as would any condenser. So it's an active dynamic. I got this here to go with it, which is from EMO Systems, and it's a little, see that there? It's a small 9 volt battery powered in and out phantom power, which is really handy for gigs. Really handy not to have to, plug anything in. So that's really cool. EMO Systems phantom power box. There's loads of different ways, obviously, you can power this mic. That one I find convenient. Sound wise, I absolutely love this mic. I think it's fantastic. It does have a bit of a condensery feel about it, actually. 2 or 3 times I've been able to step away from when I'm performing and other guys are singing on my mic, so I got to have a really good listen to this, and it sounds fantastic. This again is another great mic that you can just plug in, and the sound's pretty much almost there for me on a male vocal. So not too much EQing, which is really handy if you're standing behind your gear. We're working solo and it's really hard to sound check yourself. This is pretty much almost there for me straight away. This has a wider field than the Audix, which for me lends itself better for being acoustic guitar and vocal, so you can work with the mic a bit more and come in and come out on the mic. It sounds crystal clear. It's been very reliable. I've gigged with this for about a couple of years now. I'm super happy with it. It's a really, really wonderful mic. So I would strongly recommend either of these two if you're male vocal, you've got a bit of a muddier vocal, a bit like mine, and you're finding when you're stepping up to an SM58 that hasn't really been worked on with the sound, that you're finding that it's letting you down a bit in your performance. So go check these mics out, and indeed loads of others, so many on the market these days. So don't just settle for it just because everyone tells you it's the best. That's the SM58. I hope you enjoyed that. Please subscribe to my channel, and next time.